Hi, today I'm going to talk about the impact of COVID-19, the impact of COVID-19 on students of the Marion Sterling Elementary School in Cleveland, central Cleveland. The first part that I want to go over is the parents or the people that live in central Cleveland and the parts that are important for the issues that I'm going to present in my presentation. The first thing that I want to show you or tell you is that the current employment of the parents is that they are either unemployed. As I was starting this presentation or this issue, it was 34.5%, but this number is rising. I'm going to go into detail a little bit later. And the rest are now essential workers or they do work from home. So employment has shifted a lot in the few last weeks. And with unemployment rising, the health insurance of those people is then also being dropped. So when you stop being employed, is like you're being insured through your job, and that has then stopped for those who are not employed anymore, who have been laid off. Then about the students, I should have planned this with my camera better. Their situation also has shifted in the last few weeks, as they are, or the students in Marion Sterling, they're all economically disadvantaged. So that is that the parents didn't or aren't financially doing that good. And this now also has an impact from that their parents are laid off, and for then also that the students' parents, their schedule has shifted, so it's not the same as before. And that also leads to that the parents who do work from home can't take care of the kids as a teacher in class would. Then that all is that the sorry, that also then couples to that if their parents lose their health care, that their kids are often on their plans and they lose their health care as well. Then about Cleveland Central itself, 90.9% of the residents are African American. And in Cuyahoga County, it's at 29.7%, while the people who are infected with COVID-19 or of those cases are 39 proportionately higher infected by COVID-19 than any other group of people. Then the effects of the coronavirus on the employment, as I said before, is that the parents of the students are laid off, as the number of unemployment filings in a county during quarantine are more than all of the ones of 2019 combined. This negative economic effects on the already economically disadvantaged students. What that means is that in the last 2 months, we have seen that more people have been laid off all over the states, but also in central Cleveland than they have been over the whole year of 2019, which then also has an effect on the student or on the way how the school are financed, as they go or as they are supported via the property tax. Then how the environment has shifted because of COVID-19 is that general guidelines, or that there are general guidelines which are to try to stay in the house, or if you're leaving the house, that you have to stay at least 6 feet away from others when you're outside, and that you're wearing a face mask, and that overall increases the stress that the students are experiencing. They might worry about their families and the people who have a weak immune system, or they might worry about their own health if their immune system isn't the best. So there's a lot of stress, and there's a lot of going on which is new for the students, who then have yeah, they're more stressed out than during a normal school day. Then the stress due to the change of the remote learning, students now have to get prepared for the new environment that they're not used to. And not every apartment or house has a room for everyone in the family. So if they then learn, or if they then having their remote learning, they are more likely to stay in rooms with other students who are not of the same grade. And there's just like a lot going on. An example for that might be that the most that I had in remote learning or via the Zoom calls was for my work at Cleveland State. And even there, you had all different kinds of people where like their siblings came in, or maybe their pets were there. So there's lots of distraction for the students. Then another thing is that there is like this cabin fever, which just means that due to staying so much inside and not having that much change of I'm here, I'm in school, I'm like on the way from to, that your stress level increases even more. So with all of that, the students have a harder time to focus on their content or on what they normally would do in school. Then the whole remote learning is that the issues with that is that the students first have to adapt to Zoom or a respective video conference tool, as some things might not come as easy. Maybe they are more they don't know how to do, like maybe they're muted and they don't notice, or like all of the little bits of technology that you have to get used to. Then also the students switch from the normal instruction to self-instruction, or maybe the parents help if they do have the time. But it's a different from having a teacher who can give specialized instruction for the kids to they have to do it on their own. From that is also that they have that they're missing on help or the social interactions from their peers. Maybe if they were to be in in maths and they have a question like, oh, how is this division going? I can't figure it out. I'm going to ask my neighbor. But if you're going to be alone at home, you might have your parents who could help you, or you have your siblings. But it's not like you're learning with the people who are being on the same subject at that time. For that is then that not all students have, or that is that all students have a harder time to teach themselves, and students who already struggle in school, they just might give up altogether. Then where are we now in this whole COVID thing is that as of March 15th, classes shifted to an online instruction, and it's still ongoing and will be ongoing until the rest of the year. Which is a really good prevention of spreading of COVID-19, but that doesn't prevent anything of, but that doesn't help the students in their schoolwork really. And another thing is that schools are providing foods for students in form of breakfast and lunch every weekday. And in Cleveland, or in the Cleveland Metropolitan District, I think that is 22 schools who are handing out food to students. Then there are some solutions that can help to ease the situation. The first would be to help the parents who are either being laid off of work or are struggling even before all of that. Would be to freeze their current spendings. So rent, electricity, or food, all of this is something that they have to pay for it. But without a job or anything else, it's harder for them because they don't have the money. They had like a stimulus bill, but $1,200 isn't too much, and the rents or the utilities that were frozen, they are mostly going to be charged at one time. So instead of having to struggle every month, you then have to struggle with one really big bill. Another thing that would help, it's not directly a solution, but would help, is a clearer distribution of information. So that would be to not inject yourself with disinfectant or anything, and just like one combined stream of information instead of like lots of different ones. Then there is like the whole misinformation spreading around. For example, in Germany, they had the conspiracy that the new 5G is spreading the coronavirus, which is not correct and is not helping at all, as you don't know what to believe then if you have information A and B and C and all of that, and just like half of that might just be not true. And then a solution directly from Marin Sterling would to update to their wealth policies, as they were not in compliance before everything, before the whole shutdown, but they could update that then afterwards. It wouldn't have helped with this situation, but if there is going to be something that is affecting the health of the students, you could have more structure in that. The other solutions that are currently in effect is like the whole remote learning, and that they're handing out the food. Then what to watch out in the future. The one very important part is to prevent a second spike in cases of COVID-19. So maybe there are some people that are, or with everything slowly opening up more, there might be some people who still have the virus, but they don't show any of the signs. And when everybody then gets out again, it's like, oh yeah, we're out of the isolation. We now can do everything again. They just might infect themselves again, or for the first time, and the numbers are going to go skyrocketing. So for that, in the schools, if they're going to be go back online, and there might just be still some of the virus going around, that would be that they have disinfectant or something to disinfect tables, and to make sure that there is not not more of a spread, as well as instructions of guidelines for the students. That might be how you sneeze correctly, so not directly into your hand or maybe in your elbow. That's just like the little things that elementary kids might not know. And then another thing that is also connecting to the high unemployment rates is that the property taxes are going down. So people who don't earn, who aren't earning anything actively right now, they're not paying taxes because they don't have, or you know what I mean. And that means that the funding of the schools is going down as well, as it is from those property taxes. There's a whole other discussion that is unconstitutional, but what we have to remember then for the future first is there's going to be a drop in funding for the schools in Ohio. And then in conclusion, for now, the students have a harder time to teach themselves. They normally are used to having an instructor, or to have somebody who is used to it or has learned how to instruct properly. Students who struggle might give up altogether, and as the passing grades for Merrill Sterling weren't the best, it might be that students rather stay home and read a book instead of learning for the next final or for the next test. And then students have a harder time overall to focus on their content due to the multiple reasons that I named. And then again, with the employment rates going up, property taxes are going down, and that is then going to affect the funding for schools as well. Those are my references, and that was my presentation.